Yeah. Okay. So we're recording now. Again, my name is Richard Lee. I'm a retired immigration officer for fraud detection and national security. I was an instructor at FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, before I retired. Did a lot of marriage fraud cases and these single scheme fraud cases as well. And I'm trying to help people to be educated about this and to really get the information out there of what could happen to you as a U.S. citizen, and trying to bring awareness to the federal government and to local state governments of what are happening to U.S. citizens. Um, I do post these on YouTube for educational purposes, and I ask that anyone that I interview, I want to make sure that you're okay with that and you accept the fact that I'm going to put this on YouTube. So, is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good, wonderful. So tell us about you.
Yes,
Tell us
absolutely.
about tell us your story. That's what we want to hear.
Um, well, my name is Jason Callett.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Jason. I want
from
to
New
say one
York.
thing. You
I in
I'm sorry, Jason, one thing. I didn't say this before we started, but it's okay. I'll say it down. We don't use the names of our spouses or ex-spouses. I don't want to know her name because YouTube sometimes will take
Gotcha.
stories down if you use their name. So you just use my ex-spouse or spouse. Is that good? Okay. Um,
Understood.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Okay.
interject that, but that's
So
important.
no problem.
You go.
I met a Colombian woman online in January of 2021. We talked online for a few months,
Okay.
and in September of 2021, I went to Bogota to meet her. I was down there for one day. She brought a friend along with her so she would feel comfortable. When I arrived back in the United States, her friend called me on WhatsApp and told me I should ask her to marry me. I did, and she said yes. And we got married 2 months later in December of 2021
And you told
when
me,
I
let me just
in Colombia.
okay. Oh, good, good. So let me interject. You married her in Colombia, but I want people to understand that this wasn't really a fly by night. You knew her for nine. You had a relationship at least online for 9 months. This was not you just being frivolous. You thought you knew this person after 9 months, right?
I definitely thought I knew this person, but of course, it turned out everything that I thought I knew was a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I want to make that sure because I don't want people to think that you didn't spend time getting to know this person. You had 9 months of that, and that's very important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, I go ahead.
Okay. I got back to the United States after the marriage in Colombia and immediately filed a I-130 for her and for her son.
Mhm.
Um, we knew it was going to take a while, but it took longer than we thought it would. It took 18 months.
Yeah, and this was
And during
COVID.
that time, I supported her and her son in Colombia.
So
Yeah,
you,
the 18 months was probably from COVID
yeah,
backlog.
and you were sending her money to take care of her, which is what a husband would do, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I was sending her money to take care of all her and her son's expenses here in Colombia.
Which is as a
So when
married
she,
as a man in the United States, so people understand this as a man, that's your duty and responsibility to take care of your wife, to make sure that she has money, that make
yeah,
sure she's, I don't want people to go, well, you just shouldn't have done that. No, my money is my wife's money.
yeah,
I take care.
it's not like we were date. She was my girlfriend. We were married.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to make sure. I know when I interject this stuff, it's important to make these points that we as men who are married take care of our families. That's
Yeah,
our responsibility. So, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So,
no problem. So 18 months for the visa, and then she finally gets the visa, and we're all ready and set to start our life in the United States together.
yeah.
And she tells me she doesn't want me to pick her up from the airport, which really struck me as odd. But she was coming with her sister, who was on a tourist visa, and her son, and she's always wanted to come to Miami, and it seemed really important to her, so I went with it. Um, and then 2 days after she arrived, so she was in Miami for 2 days. I went to pick her and her sister and her son up in Miami, and we all came back to Cape Coral, and we were in Cape Coral for 2 days. And she told me, "Oh, I want to go with my sister and look for work in Miami.
Mhm.
I said, well, your sister can't work. She's on a tourist visa. So it's okay. I have friends there that will help us get work under the table.
Mhm. Yeah.
I said, you sure you want to do that? You're risking your visa that you just got if you get pinched or something. But no, she said, no, don't worry about it. It's all under control. She left her son with me
Yeah.
and went to Miami for 6 days. When she got back from Miami, she had a real bad attitude about everything. She wanted to drive the car that we had, and my insurance company said she needed to get her driver's license first in Florida
Yeah.
before I could add her and have her be a driver and not to let her drive.
Yeah.
So I told her no when she wanted to take the car. She threw the car keys at me, stomped her feet, and told me she was going to file an abuse case against me and get a lawyer. So I immediately called the police and had them come and document there was no abuse. And I got the body cam footage from that encounter. And even when they're interviewing her, they ask, oh, did he ever touch you? Did he ever hit you? She said, oh, no, no, we never did any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
um,
This
so
is
after the
2 weeks.
police
This is
left,
2 weeks
this is,
of her being here total. It's insane.
yeah.
And this happens all the time. People don't understand this. It's crazy. So I understand. Yeah.
So the police leave. She packs up all her things, which were already halfway still packed anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And someone came and picked her up in like the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Do you know who picked her up? You
And
know who picked her up?
well, I know now. So after she had left, the next morning, I went through my cell phone records. The phone she was using was on my plan,
Okay.
and I saw one guy that she was talking to, which is the guy she's currently living with,
Mm.
and that's who she spent that week in Miami with, because I was able to track her with the GPS on my car that her sister was driving, and that's who she's with now. That was also her first call when she landed in Miami. So her plane landed at like 4:20. At 4:21, she has a call to this guy, and she didn't call me until like, you know, 25 minutes after that. So,
I mean, that hurts me, man.
so
That
she
that
left.
how emotional when you know that now, that is just painful.
I mean, hindsight being 2020 is such
No,
a knife in the heart.
yeah, just so no, people think it's important people know this. God, that would hurt me so bad to know that. You're trusting and you're loving and you're trying to start a life with someone and they don't barely land in the freaking country and they do this to you. I want you to understand
Yeah,
that's just horrible.
yeah,
People should understand how horrible that is to you emotionally. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I have to say, I want to express that. I think it's important to know that's just a dirty, horrible thing to do. But
yeah.
go ahead. So I'm
So after she left, about a month after no, maybe 2 months after she left, I get served with a domestic violence injunction. Um, my lawyer got it thrown out immediately. It didn't go to trial or anything
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Um, and then it was quiet for the longest time. Didn't really hear anything from her. And then I recently got served again with the second domestic violence injunction, which just happened to coincide with Trump getting elected and all this VAWA being investigated more heavily
yeah.
and all this kind of
But
stuff.
you haven't seen her, right? You haven't. I mean, you
No,
haven't seen her in all
I
that
haven't
time.
seen her since August 16th, 2023.
That's just ridiculous. And now she's filing a VAWA against you again. I mean, a domestic violence charge against you.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. Where does she live? You live
she
in
lives in Miami.
and you live in Cape Coral, right?
I lived in Cape Coral. I had to file for bankruptcy. I mean, supporting her put me in a bunch of debt. And
Yeah,
the whole time she was saying, "Oh, don't worry. When I'm in the U.S., I'm going to get a job and we'll pay off all the debt. No problem."
yeah,
But no, she left me holding the bag of all the debt. And I couldn't, the house that I got, I was counting on her income too. Like I was able to just make it with my income.
yeah.
And once she was out of the picture, I'm like, well, now I have like $30 for food for the month for me and my kids, as far as my budget went. So
Okay.
I had to file for bankruptcy. I lost the house. I used my um, VA home loan guarantee to get the house.
Yeah.
And since it's going into foreclosure, I won't be able to use that again.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's
She
really bad.
actually she got money to go to school. I'm a 100% disabled veteran, and she was able to use Chapter 35 benefits to get paid to go to school until the divorce was finalized and they finally cut it.
Yeah, that's
I called Veterans Affairs IG
yeah,
and told them, look, I have this certificate that says she committed fraud to get shouldn't she have to pay those benefits back? I said no, technically she was qualified for them and everything, and
he was
like
married to you.
she stole benefits from widows and orphans of disabled veterans,
Jeez, that's just so. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's just typical.
and no one wants to do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much that.
I should say
Yeah,
it seems that no one wants to do anything
yeah.
about it
Well,
from my
the problem
perspective.
is that the guys on the ground. You were in the service. The guys on the ground don't have the power, and they don't have they can only do what the institutions and the laws allow them to do. And so they
Yeah,
know that, yeah, the law is this way. I can't do anything about what the law says. That's what Congress created that law and allowed them
right.
to do that. Um, I mean, just so people understand, because I was just a grunt in the service, and I was a grunt in USCIS and fraud. I mean, I was tied by the law as much as anyone else was. Although I tried to stretch, I stretched it a little bit. I wanted to help people as much. So anyway, so you ended up, I think that's important too. She came in 2001. How long were you guys you only lived together for 2 weeks, but how long were you married?
We were married for 18 months and 2 weeks.
It took you a while was that because you had to fight to get a divorce, or, people leave, you got to find them. And if you can't find them, you can't get a divorce, right?
Oh no, okay, so no, we were married for the 18 months while we waited for the visa, and then
I'm
I
sorry.
had to wait for my residency to be established in Florida before I could file for divorce.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I had to wait 3 more months after that to file for the divorce, and then it took another 2 months after that, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we were married for almost 2 years by the time the divorce was finalized.
Well, I guess my question should be, from the time she got here in January, was it January when she got here? Or uh
She got here in August.
I'm sorry, for the time she got here in August, how long was it before you guys were divorced?
The divorce was finalized September 2024, so a year and a month.
A year and a month. And when did you file for divorce?
Uh, like 6 months prior to
6 months
that.
back. Yeah, because
So,
you got to, yeah, just so understand people. I want people to understand timelines take time. Things take time.
oh
So,
yeah.
so you ended up getting divorced, and in your divorce, what did it say in your divorce? What did the judge say in your divorce?
Um, well, I actually filed for annulment,
Hmm.
and the judge said that although I had met the burden of proof for marriage, immigration-based marriage fraud,
Hmm.
excuse me, um, we had consummated the marriage, and therefore he could not grant the annulment. And he actually cited the case law pertaining to that, and I sure as hell went and read it and made
Yeah,
sure
so
it really
yeah,
pertained, and
that's very important because I
it
tell
seemed
people,
like it was
yeah.
legit.
No, no, that's great. I tell people all the time, sometimes you can't get an annulment, but if you can get the judge to cite in a divorce that the reason for the divorce is the fact that the person married you for the purpose of gaining an immigration benefit, that works as
Yeah,
well as an annulment. In my opinion, it works. And I would have used it that way. So that's
yeah.
awesome. How did this affect you emotionally? I mean, financially, it's destroyed you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, emotionally, I'm devastated. I've been a single father for 6 years
yeah,
with two children,
yeah.
and they've since had to go live with their aunt.
Hmm.
I mean, the stability that I've established in my life for me and my children is totally destroyed.
I'm so sorry.
And and like I'm bouncing around from place to place, still trying to figure out where I'm gonna end up living, and I'm trying to find a decent apartment so maybe my kids can live with me again.
Okay. Mhm.
And that's the most devastating thing to me is
Yeah.
I can understand how these people want to better their lives at any
Mhm.
cost, and
Mhm.
they're willing to scam somebody.
Mhm.
But she knew I had kids. She scammed kids.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Isn't that terrible? Um, I mean, I think that's very, I'd like to do more of the video, but I think we're running out of time when I look at my schedule. So I'm going to stop the video for now. Let's just talk for a few minutes, okay?
Yep.
I think I've got some good information.